Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. You know, if you've been literally anywhere near the internet lately, you've probably felt this really wild mix of awe and, let's be honest, sheer panic about artificial intelligence. We hear about it constantly, but how many of us actually know what it is? Well, today, we're going to demystify the magic. We're going to see that AI is less like some scary sci-fi monster that's out to get us, and honestly, a lot more like a fascinating, maybe slightly clumsy magic trick. And today, we're going to figure out exactly how that trick works, together.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. It's the big, looming question that absolutely everyone is secretly, or, not so secretly, asking right now. Will AI actually take over the world? Every single day, it feels like there's a brand new, bewildering, or just totally frightening story bombarding us in the news.
I mean, the hype machine is running at absolute full speed, stealing jobs, spreading fake news on a colossal scale, plotting actual world domination, and it's completely normal to feel intimidated or bewildered or even a little scared by this relentless cycle of headlines. But our mission today is to just take a step back. We want to replace that fear with a crystal clear understanding of the actual mechanics. Because think about it, once you know how something mechanically works, it stops being quite so scary.
Section 1. Meet your digital workers. AI is as old as your grandparents.
All right, let's take a look under the hood. The very first thing to note is that AI is not some brand new magic that just appeared out of thin air last year. Its roots actually stretch way back to the 1940s, with an idea known as an artificial neural network. This tech was built through steady, methodical research over decades. And the truth is, we're all already comfortably using it every single day. In the background, AI is the exact thing that suggests the movies and music you might like. It recognizes faces when you take photos on your smartphone, and social media platforms heavily use it to personalize your feeds. But what is new today, right in the foreground, is generative AI. These are applications that can seemingly create entirely new data and generate incredibly human-like text.
So how exactly does it do this? Well, if you don't have a technical background, it really helps to just use a mental model. Think of a neural network as a team of interconnected digital workers who are trying to solve a problem together. First, the team comes up with a possible solution. Next, they get graded, and they mark down exactly where there's room for improvement. Finally, they adjust their connections and try again. Through really simple, repetitive trial and error, this helpful little digital team becomes incredibly efficient over time. But notice what's missing there. There's absolutely no grand, independent thought happening. It is literally just math, repetition, and adjusting connections.
Section 2. The talking parrot illusion. Why chatbots feel so incredibly human.
Now, what's really interesting is that there's this massive gap between our emotional reaction to AI and the actual reality of it. When you use modern generative AI chatbots, like OpenAI's ChatGPT or Google's Bard, you ask a question like, why should we be concerned about AI? And it gives you this logical, convincing, superhuman-like response. It is just so easy for us to project humanity onto it. It genuinely feels like the AI understands what it's saying, that it has feelings, that it has motivations. But look at the stark contrast. What it actually is a highly sophisticated sentence completion app. That's it. It analyzes our human patterns of communication and uses probability to predict the next word, the next sentence, the next paragraph. It's a surprisingly mundane, code-based reality of probability prediction.
It's exactly like the quote says. It's a bit like a talking parrot. A parrot can perfectly mimic your communication, right? It can say, "I love you," or it can sound angry, but it doesn't actually comprehend the concepts of love or hate. AI cannot think, it cannot feel, it cannot love, and it definitely cannot hate. It's really just an incredibly complex mirror reflecting our own language patterns right back at us.
Section 3. Hallucinations and hidden biases. Pulling back the curtain on when the magic trick fails.
Because chatbots have a bit of an awkward relationship with the truth, we really need to talk about their flaws. This brings us to an absolutely crucial term, AI hallucinations. This is what happens when an AI just makes stuff up. Remember, the entire core of this technology is predicting the next word using probability. It completely lacks the actual ability to assess truthfulness or accuracy. It just knows what word mathematically should come next based on its training. So it can very confidently generate replies that sound completely plausible, but are entirely fabricated out of thin air. This is a huge takeaway for you today. Anyone using these tools has to do their own research. You literally have to be on the lookout for credible-sounding nonsense because the AI is not going to fact-check itself.
So the crucial point is, it's not just making things up, it's also reflecting our worst traits. Like we said, AI acts as a mirror. The idea of a racist or a biased machine might sound like a plot from a bad sci-fi movie, but the machine doesn't have its own beliefs. It's trained on data created by us. And as we all know, racism, bias, and hateful content can be found in absolute abundance online. If the AI is trained on that data, its output is going to reflect that bias mechanically. It's the old rule of computing: garbage in, garbage out.
Let me give you a very clear, mechanical example of this from the year 2016. Microsoft launched an experimental chatbot named Tay. Tay was designed to interact with users on social media and just learn from those interactions in real time. But very, very quickly, Tay started outputting racist and highly offensive remarks. Why? Simply because it learned to do so directly from interacting with human users online. The system was just doing exactly what it was programmed to do: mimic the data it was fed. Microsoft had to quickly pull the plug, but it perfectly illustrates why ethical frameworks and safeguards are fundamentally necessary when we build these tools simply to prevent our own human biases from automatically becoming machine outputs.
Let's move to Section 4. A tool, not a terminator. The bright, helpful future of artificial intelligence. And this brilliantly illustrates how, despite those notes of caution, beneath the flaws lies a profoundly powerful assistant. The potential benefits here are just staggering. In healthcare alone, AI is already discovering new drugs and identifying cancer cells so much more reliably than human doctors can. Beyond the lab, think of AI chatbots as these infinitely patient teachers that can summarize huge volumes of information for us when we're struggling to grasp a complex topic. It's enhancing everyday work in software programming, animation, law enforcement, journalism, you name it. Just imagine if this extra capacity frees humanity up to tackle massive, global challenges like climate change, or, honestly, just gives us the time to look after ourselves and each other a little bit better.
So, what does this all mean? Ultimately, AI is not going to take over the world on its own. It's just a tool, a remarkably powerful tool for sure, but still just a tool. It requires us. As it advances, governments and regulators are going to have to work really hard to ensure it's used responsibly. But the most important question I'll leave you with today isn't what AI will do to us, but rather, how will we choose to use it? You are now officially armed with the facts behind the magic trick. You know how those digital workers operate, and you know all about the talking parrot. Stay curious, stay skeptical of the hype, and I really hope this explainer helps you navigate our new digital world with total confidence.